I'm going to show you how you can create your own page for Instagram, so you can link to a page on your website. Like I do here, I have a page on my website. If you wanted to design your own, so you can brand it. On my Instagram, I have a link that goes to a page on my website, which when you click it, opens up a page of links and then a little sign up form so people can sign up directly from that link. So I'm going to show you how you can do this. I'm going to use the Divi theme in WordPress, so you'll need a little bit of experience using that. I'm not going to give any background information about actually how the basics about how to use it, so you'll need a little bit of experience, but it's not too hard. So as long as you know the basics, you'll be able to follow along. So to start, you want to come to your website and make sure that you're logged in, and then you want to create a new page. And then you can call it, title it whatever you want, of course. I'm going to just call it Instagram, if I can remember how to type it. And then I'm just going to save draft to start with. And of course you can always give your page a name and then change the permalink, so the URL of the page if you want to. So this is going to be what comes after the / at the end of your website. And then to get started, click the Use Divi Builder button, come into the front end of your site, just click Build from Scratch, and to start with, just get rid of that, come down to your purple button at the bottom, save draft, and then go back into Edit Page, come to the back. And this is basically just telling the page that it's Divi, and what this has done is down in your page attributes under the Document tab, Page Attributes under Template, click the default template, now click Blank Page. And the reason I do it that way is because quite often the blank page option doesn't actually show until you've gone into the Divi Builder and then back out. So select Blank Page for Template, save draft again, and go back to Edit with the Divi Builder, Build from Scratch, and again I'll just close that down. And what that has done is you'll see it's gotten rid of the header of the page and the footer of the page. So it makes it look like more of a standalone page that you've clicked from Instagram. It just looks like a page that's been specifically set up for that, so you're not taking up space with the header or the footer. You can just add whatever you want to add specifically for this. And what I do when I'm building this page is come down to your purple button at the bottom, and over on the right in this grey box here, you'll see that you can view the page, the builder, the editing page, either as desktop, as tablet view, or mobile view. And I click phone view, mobile view, to actually build in for this page, because people are using Instagram on their phones. So the link that they're going to click is going to take them to a page through a mobile. So it makes sense to actually build this, viewing it as if you're viewing it on a mobile, building it for mobile. You can also build it so it looks okay on desktop, but I recommend at least starting here and then making adjustments for desktop if you need to. So to begin with, you should be familiar with sections and then rows. I'm going to add a row, add new row, and I'm just going to work with the single row, the single block. Because on mobile, any of the columned rows, all they do is stack on top of each other when you're viewing a mobile. So the columns turn into a single row anyway. Of course, you can, if you're wanting to build to view from desktop as well, you can use the columns to make things look fine. But again, I just work in a single column, center align everything, and then it just looks very neat and easy to use from mobile. And the first module that I put in is an image at top, click the area, select the image, and I just grab the logo. It can either be a picture of you or it can be your logo. You'll see that's a bit big and it's also not center aligned. So in the image settings box, first thing is come to link and image link URL, put the URL that you want that to go to. You probably want it to go to your homepage, in which case you can just do a / and that will go to the homepage on the website that you are currently using, editing on. And then in the design tab, under alignment, center align it, sizing, and then you can set width or max width, and you can just drag that around to set a percentage, or you can actually give it a precise size. So I'm going to try giving it about 200 pixels, and that looks maybe slightly too big, 180 pixels. Yeah, that looks about right. Make sure it's center aligned, the green tick to save that. And then I've got quite a bit of space above it here. So what I'm actually going to do is remove the spacing. If you're not aware of that, you can just, by hovering, you can find the selections of the different paddings and margins, and you can just drag them around. So I'm just reducing the padding there. There's still a bit too much space above that I'm happy with. I want it to sit quite snugly up at the top. On mobile, you generally want a bit less space than you would use on a desktop. That looks good to me. So the next thing is adding in some buttons so you can give people options of what they want to do. So this can sometimes happen when you've got a lot of things in a small space. I can't actually see my plus button for my module. So a quick way to do this, if you come across this, is if you hover over the module, just duplicate the module, and then you'll see when you click on that, you can see the plus button, and then I can just add a new module. Search for button, add button, and then again you can change your button text. So maybe you want that to say, visit my website, the link. You can add the link that you want it to go to, and then in design, I'm going to choose alignment and I'm going to center align it. So everything is just center aligned. And I'm not going to worry about adjusting any of the actual design elements. This is already showing up in the design that is set for my own branding for my website. So when you're doing this, obviously your buttons are not going to look like this. Your buttons will look different, and they should look, they should be in the style of your own branding of your own website. So you shouldn't necessarily actually have to make any changes to that because they should be in line with your branding. But if you do, if for some reason they're not, or you want to adjust them slightly, you can just come into your button settings, still in the design tab. If you come down to button, and you can click use custom styles for button, just say yes to that. And this is going to override the styling of the button that turns up there already. You can adjust the text size, the text color, the button background color, border width, border color, border radius, which is how much curve you have on the border of it. So if I increase, you can turn it into a rounded button. I'm just going to make sure that that's just reset to where it was. The letter spacing, you can make the letter spacing huge if you want to. Again, I'm just going to reset that back to normal. You can change the font weight, the font style, and decide whether an icon comes up and what icon shows. So you might actually want to use this. If you want to use a slightly different icon on each of your buttons, then this is where you can come. You can say, yes, show button icon. You can choose a different icon, change the color of the icon if you want, decide whether it goes on the right, the left, and set whether it shows the icon on hover, only on hover for button, or whether it's always showing. So if you say no, then it will turn off and on. So you can adjust any of that as you want to. And of course, on each of these, you can change you can change the settings on whether you are hovering over the button, and also you can change the mobile styling. You might not want to worry about the mobile styling necessarily on this because you're designing it primarily for mobile, but What you might want to adjust is the on hover, and if you do, all you have to do is if you hover over the element that you want to change, and then you look for the arrow symbol, and this means on hover. So this then gives you settings for just normal if somebody isn't hovering over, and then you can change the settings for if somebody is hovering over it, and you can set that individually. That's particularly useful if you want to change the colour of, say, the background. So you'll see mine, when I hover over it, it changes colour. Then to do that, you would come down to button background, click the hover, and then you can change hover and then add a different background colour. If you change the background colour for things, you might also need to make sure that you change the text colour for the button on hover as well. So it can take a little bit of fiddling, but you can have a play around with that. If you click that and then you change your mind, you just want to undo that, you can just click the arrow button again and it returns. And if you want to revert back to the original settings for your website, this little the backwards arrow, you can click that and that's revert basically. So if you can't see the revert button, you may just need to deselect one of the things already. Actually, the revert isn't turning up there, so maybe it doesn't. And if you change your mind, you don't want to use custom styles, you just click no, don't use custom styles, and it will undo any of the styling. So I'm just going to leave the buttons as they are, basically. So the green tick button to save, and save what I've done there. And then because I've got two logos here, just because I duplicated them, I just want to delete one of them. That's a bit better. And now because I want multiple buttons, I just want to use the duplicate buttons. So this the little square where you've got two squares on top of each other, just click that and it duplicates it. Duplicated a few times. Now I've got 4 buttons. And then you just need to go through each button in turn. Change the text on the button. So maybe you want that to say freebies. You would give a different link to the freebies. Save it. And then the next one into the settings. Perhaps that's resources, say. Again, change the link. Change the design, of course, if you wanted to change the design on it. Save it. Next one, into the settings button. What should we call that? Read my blog. Read my blog. And then again, set the link. You just need to navigate, open a new tab, navigate to the right page. So I'll show you how to do that if you open a new tab. If I just go visit the website, let's go to the blog and then just select your URL, copy the URL, come back and in the button link URL, paste the URL. So now that's linking to the blog and click OK. And there we go. I have a really basic, simple few buttons, and the buttons are visiting different places on the website. Now what I want to do is I want to add an area at the bottom that has a sign up form. I think it can be quite handy just having a little sign up form actually there and ready. You can, of course, you can just click a create a button saying sign up to my newsletter and give it a link to either a page on your website where they can sign up, or mailing list companies like MailChimp quite often create, you can have a page, they'll have a link to a sign up form, so you can go and copy that. So you could just add it as a button, but I think it's quite nice just actually having a little form here so people can really quickly and easily just sign up into it. So to do that, what I'm actually going to do is create a new section, because I'm going to give it a background colour. So just a regular section and the straightforward row, and then email opt-in. And I'll leave that alone for the moment, because what I actually want to do is I want to give a background colour to the whole area here. So I want to basically create a division off. You can add a divider. But what I'm going to do is change the background colour here. So it's the blue section. Come into the settings, and then under background, you can add a background colour. Either click, or if you have a list of your brand colours down at the bottom here, which I do, so I'm going to select one of those. Then that's just creating a little line across, and that's literally all I'm going to do for that. And now I've got my sign up box. Click on that, select it, and then you can just change your title. Sign up here. Add a button. You can change the text of the button, so it can say subscribe or sign up. You can change that to whatever you wanted to say. You can add your content. You can either do that in the visual or the text bit here. So select that. Join me for my weekly newsletter. Of course, you probably want to put something a bit more exciting than that. And then you can add a footer if you need to add anything about your privacy policy or anything like that. You can add that into the footer. Email account. Want to make sure that you actually have your email account connected, set up. If you don't, then you can just find your email account that you need to set up. And then if you haven't set it up before, it will come up with a little a button so you can actually connect it. But if you've already connected it, then you can select your list. You can choose which fields, whether you want single name field, first name or last name. You can select which fields you want. Success action, display a message, add a little message saying something like, thanks for signing up. Please check your inbox. You can add spam protection service if you want to, and you have that set up. And then what I might do is background. I might actually change the background. I'm going to change it to my ready. Should I change it to my ready colour? I'm going to change it to a lighter colour actually, so it's a lighter green. And then you can just go through the design layout. You can change whether the body on left, form on right. I'm just going to do body on top, form on bottom. I'm going to leave everything full width because it works quite well for mobile. Fields, I'm quite happy with the background colour there, but you can adjust your background colours and the text colours. What I am going to do is, because I can't really see the text here, I am actually going to change the colour of the text. So it's going to be here, text colour, dark, and I'm going to align it central. So everything's centered aligned now. And you can go through and adjust the design on anything else and how big you want it. Make all the changes that you want to make, and then have your green tick. And then you can just go through and check whether you're happy with everything there. I actually think I've got a little bit more space than I want there. So reduce that a little bit. Reduce the spacing here so you can see it a bit better. But otherwise I'm quite happy with that. That should work quite well. So now I'm just going to publish. So that's now published. If I exit Visual Builder, it looks quite wide on desktop. So what you can do is go in and adjust the settings for that. Look to see how it looks on desktop and have a play around in the design settings. Here, what I actually might do, I'll show you how to do that if you come across this. Enable Visual Builder. So it's quite large. So what I'm actually going to do is come back into the settings, design, come to the sizing, and I'm going to set the max width. Let's see what it's like at about 400 pixels. Change the modular alignment because it's moved over to the left, make it central again. That looks about right. So if I leave it as that, what I might do, check to see what that looks like. in tablet. That looks okay in tablet. That looks fine in mobile. So I'm quite happy with that. It's going to be used for people using mobile anyway. So I don't mind that it doesn't look particularly amazing on desktop, but you can absolutely have a play around and make sure that it looks brilliant on desktop as well if you want to. But do just bear in mind that Instagram it's a mobile app, so people are going to be viewing this on mobile. So I've saved my page. Now if I exit Visual Builder, so all you need to do now is grab the URL of your page, go to your Instagram. You can do this on desktop or mobile, obviously. And then if you go into your edit profile, then this might be different. I'm assuming that you actually have a business profile where you can actually put a website in, and then in your website area, all you'd need to do is just select that and paste in the URL that you needed to. So this is quite long because this is one of my subdomains, just because I'm testing and I'm not actually going to save this, but you just need to click submit and it would save to your Instagram account. And then all you'd need to do is visit your Instagram profile, click the link, see how it works on your mobile, check that you're happy with it, and go back and make any adjustments that you want to.